Now today we're taking a look at the Ninebot E3 Pro, and I have to tell you, if you have never experienced running a Segway, you're missing out. These scooters are quality made, have amazing suspension, and they have a spectacular ride. Now the E3 Pro features a 20-mile-per-hour top speed with a 34-mile range. Now, 800-watt motor. And the specs that I'm giving you, at least on speed and also on range, are going to vary based on your body weight, obviously. So depending on how much you weigh and also how hard you ride, that's going to change things a bit. Also the incline, if you're going to be going up or down. Now I'm right now clocking, it says at 20, so we'll confirm that. But it looks like we're here. And again, this scooter has a lot of features, a lot of things that I really like. First of all, it does have tubeless tires, 10-inch tubeless tires, which means you don't have to worry about the concerns of having flats. And I'll tell you, having a 34-mile range, if you get a flat when you're 25 miles out, it's not fun getting back. The scooter also has a bell, right? Has a single brake. It does have a really nice suspension system, front and back suspension. It has a turning signal that you can have on the left and on the right. So if I were to press it, you'll notice I turn on the right or the left signal. If I tap the other side, I can get the left. And all you have to do is tap it one more time to be able to disable it. So that's all it takes. As I mentioned, the suspension and the ride between the tires and also the suspension system that it has, it rides really nice. And I'm going to go through this really bumpy area here. And while you may hear a little bit on my voice, the one thing I just want to highlight is that it's really soft on my knees. And I think that's going to be the big part when it comes to riding on a scooter like this, is like, you know, what type of impact do you feel? Now, as you guys saw, there are a lot of configuration options that you can enable in the application. And the application gives you the ability to configure what is going to be your start speed, what is going to be also from a kick to start, that is, also enabling some of the security features, firmware upgrades. And I'll tell you, the throttle on this is a delight. When you actually hit go, it goes. I can't even feel any kind of latency or reaction between hitting the throttle and the scooter going. Very Tesla-like, you know, when you think about 0 to max speed, and we're going to see how well it picks up, but very responsive. The grips are nice and easy to hold on to as well. Very comfortable and positioning as well. Now from a grip perspective, you have really nice grippy handles. You also have the actual bed itself, has a real nice rubberized grip. It doesn't have that sandpaper that you see in many skateboards or even some scooters have implemented that with time it's going to wear off. My feet are in place and they are not coming off. The actual steering column height is adequate. I'm about 5'6", but I can see if you're taller than I am, which wouldn't be hard if you were looking at somebody who is much taller, you can see that the actual height of the steering column is rather adequate, so you're not going to find yourself slouching over either. The display is very easy to read, even in direct sunlight. It also has some removable markers or rubberized areas right next to the handles so that you can put accessories. And you can see I have my phone with it, and I just removed one of those little rubber pieces so I can place it there. Now this scooter also folds really easily. It has right here just one button that you have to press to actually unfold. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to see an acceleration. I'm coming almost to a complete stop. It's going to be 2 miles, right? And I'm going to hit it and we're going to see how fast it can pick up. So right now I have it in the speed mode, which is the fastest mode. And it says 10, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and now it's going to hit 20. So that's 20 top speed. And you can see how quickly it was able to pick that up. We're going to confirm what our speed cam will tell us in a couple seconds to see how it compares to the speed cam speed and the actual scooter speed to see how true to speed they are. Right now, very comfortable. Again, I have to say, from a ride and a bump perspective, really don't feel anything when it comes to gravel or uneven surfaces. Now, other thing I wanted to mention about the scooter is how silent it is. You hear nothing. There's no rattle, there's no clatter. You know, even the motors, as I'm going at top speed at 20 miles an hour, I really don't hear anything. The only thing that I could say is perceptible is going to be the actual tires on the pavement and whatever natural sound comes from that. But outside of that, nothing there. I do like the side markers and how it gives you that ability to indicate to someone that you're turning left or right, especially if you're riding a scooter on, on the side of the street. Some cities, you're not allowed to ride on the sidewalk, and therefore having that marker is important because it tells the drivers of vehicles what you're going to do. Now, as you mentioned, there is an app, and that app that you can use basically will tell you a lot. It has a lot of information about the scooter, charging cycle, battery health, health of the scooter. As I mentioned, it has firmware. It has also a really nice LED system, and that is something that I wanted to highlight. We saw that when we were doing the walkabout around the scooter. The LED system is super sharp. I love all the configuration, and I'm a sucker for any kind of RGB on any kind of device. So if we could have it on a car, on a bike, on a scooter, hey, you got me, and this definitely does have it. And I love the personalization options that you have with that as well. Now next we're going to do a speed test. So we have a speed cam coming up, and we're going to see what does the speed cam register compared to what the scooter registers. And again, the display on the scooter is telling me that we're running 20 miles an hour, and we're going to see what the speed cam says once we get closer to it to see if it's actually 20 miles. The actual display also shows your battery usage, where you are. And remember, this is going to give you 20, top speed 34 miles. And the camera's coming into view, and the camera says 19 miles. 19 miles, and the scooter says 20. So that is acceptable. That is very close, if not right on the money. All right, so let's check and see how well it does in this bumpy area. So the question is this a buy? I have to say, Segway, absolutely yes. Premium quality, premium ride, premium support. Everything on this bike feels, or this scooter actually feels spectacular. So this is an easy double thumbs up. I definitely recommend this guy. E3 Pro.
The packaging for this scooter is probably one of the best that I've seen in the market. Truly, you can see the maturity of a Segway product based on the packaging itself. Just take a look at how big that box is. That box is probably 3 to 4 times smaller than any box that I receive on the channel when it comes to scooters. It is tiny. And I was kind of surprised when I opened it up and I found how well packaged things were. It's tight, it's compact, and it was just well put together. The second thing is the overall information that's available with the scooter when you have it. I was at first going to take off all the labels. I said, you know what, I'm not going to do that because I want to give you guys the full experience. And I want to show you how much, it's not just branding, but how much information is available. So for example, you can see on the box, 34 miles, 800 watts, right? Dual suspension. Guess what? On the bottom, 34 miles, 800 watts, dual suspension. You see all the features of the scooter in every part of the scooter, not just in this area here, but you're going to see a tag on the side here when we take the top shot. It's also going to have all the information when it comes to the specs of the scooter, so that there's no way that you'll be confused as to the type of scooter that you purchased or the capabilities. So let's go ahead and take a closer look. I'm going to talk about the specs, and then we're going to go ahead and just do an overview of the scooter. And I have to tell you also that the app itself, super mature app. This is a clean, really easy to use mobile solution that goes paired with your scooter, binds your scooter, and it's how you can do all your firmware upgrades. But then again, it shows the maturity of the Segway products. Now, zooming into the information sheet that's literally on the bed, this scooter is going to give you 34 miles. It has an 800-watt powertrain. Now, as we zoom in specifically right on the bed itself, you can see all the details about this scooter. First of all, it does claim to have a 34-mile range, but that's going to vary in a couple conditions. It's going to be your body weight. It's going to have to do with the grade that you're riding on, up or down or flat, or how many times you have to go up. And it's also going to be due to how aggressive you drive. If you really floor it all the time and then release, or if you're a gradual power user, a lot of that stuff comes into mind when it comes into the actual range itself. The one thing that I want to highlight, and this is really important, especially as you're riding a scooter, you don't really know the terrain that you're going to be in. So having the dual suspension system like this one has, as it's indicated there, means that you're going to have a very comfortable ride, and it's not going to be jarring to your knees. That is important. Now, the other thing that this scooter has that you'll see once we power this up is that it has an interesting, very attractive LED system. It lights up. Right now, it's very discreet because it's off, but as soon as you power it up, this just lights up. And it has a lot of other features that I will show you as we start looking at different aspects of the scooter. 10-inch tubeless tires, which I love. Scooters are great. Problem with scooters is if they get a flat or if they run out of air, they're not great anymore. And especially if you could go 35, 34 miles at a top speed of 20 miles per hour, getting back is horrible if you have a flat. So having these type of tires makes them worry free. And again, given the range and given the power of the E3 Pro, you're going to be able to enjoy your ride. On the scooter, you're going to find another badge, and this was just on the scooter, again, highlighting all those features that we talked about. And you can see, again, the tubeless tires, the dual suspension, the 34-mile range, 20 miles per hour, and the 800-watt power train that it has. And you also then get to see more about the folding mechanism. You can see right here, the actual folding mechanism, how compact the scooter gets. And this is really important because if you're using this in a dorm, you're using this in a workplace, this may be your last mile solution. So let's say, for example, you take this on the train and then you scoot from the train to your office or back and forth. This is something you can do. Noel and I, we use scooters a lot. We tend to go to downtown Chicago. We carry scooters in our trunk. This folding down the way it can fold means that we can take two scooters, pop them out, and then just navigate the city on our own scooters and check things out. Now that we've uncovered the actual bed, a couple things I want to highlight. It has a rubberized surface, which means it's going to be very grippy for your feet. It's not a sandpaper type skateboard type surface, which means that it's not going to wear. So typically those surfaces, while they look cool and you can do a lot of personalization, over time they wear and they don't have the grippiness that you would like. This definitely has the grippiness that you need, and it's going to maintain it because of the type of bed that it is. Also, you notice that the bed is pretty long and it's going to be able to support, again, wide feet, standard feet, of all sizes, given the length and also the width. Now, I powered up the actual scooter and I wanted to show you before we move to other parts of the scooter, the lighting system on the bed. And that is pretty cool. So you do have a lot of personalization where you can configure how you'd like the lighting to look. And at night, it's going to do two things. First of all, it's going to create a statement. And the second, it's going to generate a lot of awareness. So people are going to know where you are, when you are. And the other thing is it does have a brake light. And you can see as soon as you press the brake light, that is bright and that is flashing. So people are going to know that you're slowing down as well. Now, the scooter also has turning signals that you're going to see in a second. But again, you have a lot of lighting, both front lighting, back lighting, generating a lot of awareness so that people know that you're on your way and you're present. Now, one of the things that's present on the base is the actual folding mechanism. And you can see that switch there, very easily labeled. It's really easy to do, and you'll see that in a second. Now, as soon as we switch to the front, you're going to be able to see more of the suspension system. It looks really cool, kind of Tron-like looking. Also, you see like the cable that is used for the braking. And the one thing about this is you notice that it doesn't have a disc. It doesn't have like a bike disc or brakes that kind of grab. It's all internal, so everything is nice and clean. You don't have to worry about any kind of failures. While driving at night, you can have great visibility. You can see the light is super bright. Now you have some turning signals that are accessible right here. All you have to do is press this button and you can see the turning signal, super bright, but also you get an audible chirp. So people will hear that something's going on and they'll see that you're going to be turning either left or right. To disable it, all you do is press it again and it turns off. And if you want to turn on the other one that's on the other side, you just press it and you press it to turn it off as well. The display is also super legible. I'm going to turn this on. You can see, even on the display there, you can see that you have the turning signal on. So you can see that nice and clear there. And as I turn the other one, you can see that as well. You can see that the Bluetooth is enabled. You can see, obviously, we're not moving. So it's 0, the miles per hour, and then the driving mode. And you can switch driving modes really easy just by tapping this button. Watch this. So that turns off the light. Press it twice. You have your E, you have your drive, and then you have your sports mode. So that first one is energy efficient, standard driving, and then you have your sports mode. And then you have a walking mode, which allows you to walk with the scooter, and the scooter, you're not going to be dragging it, but it's going to assist you as it's moving. So really easy to switch from mode to mode. And again, all you do this is with a tap of a button. Now on the side, you notice that it only has a single braking system, right? And or a single lever for braking. On the side here, you'll find your brake. So you press this. The lighting system will enable notifying that you are slowing down, and all you have to do is release it. The actual handles themselves are rubberized. They feel good. They're grippy. They have texture on it, but they don't bite into your hand. The actual throttle itself is found on this side, and all you have to do is a thumb throttle. You push it down, and You push it down and the scooter will go faster, release it and it goes slower. This is not the type of scooter that would just leap out and start driving. You have to kick the start. And in the app, it actually allows you to configure that. Let's check it out. As you can see, this app is super mature. It gives you a lot of information about your scooter, battery percentage, actual range. Also, you can basically go into a dashboard, which is going to tell you everything about your scooter when it comes to the ride, max speed, the actual vehicle temperature. Some really nice stats here that you can work with. You also then have a guard mode, a security mode that you can enable and disable. But from here, you can go into your settings, which is going to allow you to do a lot of the configuration when it comes to lighting. Let's take a look at that. And from a lighting perspective, you can determine if the tail light is always going to be on only when braking. And then you can also configure the lights. Right now, the lights are going to be breathing, but if I do flow effect, it'll change to the flow effect. If I choose rainbow, it's going to change to the rainbow effect. If I choose, in drive mode, you can have every single setting. So for example, if I go back to breathing, I can say in eco mode, it's going to be one mode, and I'm going to go into the drive mode, right? And you're going to see me change it now. So I change drive mode to rainbow effect. I can change it to breathing effect, and then I can change it to flowing energy effect, right? So literally what you could do is every single mode could have its different lighting setting, which I think is also pretty cool. The other interesting thing I find in the app is that it does have this TCS platform or solution. It's called Traction Control System, the TCS, which keeps the vehicle steady during your ride. I'm going to have to test that out. We'll see how it performs, but I like the fact that they've thought about that and that is present. Over here, what you have is, again, riding safety information. You have also your energy recovery, your start speed. So notice that the scooter has to go 1.8 miles in order to start. So that's the kick start function, right? And then you can make it more severe, 2 to 4 or 3. And this is great, especially if you have kids. I've had a lot of people, I know people that have hurt themselves because the scooter just takes off or because they just don't understand kicks to start. So I like the fact that it's configurable.
So guys, that wraps up our review. See you in the next video.